Hello everyone, my name's Hector Mendoza. This right here is my email address if you ever wanted to know how to do something in Xactimate or Symbility. What I'm doing right now, this is part 4 of an 8-part series, and basically what I'm posting out there is how you can become an adjuster, what it takes to be an adjuster, step 1 all the way till you finish doing an inspection. So I've already posted, how to prepare to become an independent adjuster, how to prepare for pre-inspection, your basic guidelines when inspecting property as an independent adjuster, and we're at this stage right now. I do have those other 3 that I've already put out there. So you could actually go to that link, this link, and also I have some other ones out there. How to create doors and windows in Xactimate, diagram a roof using Google Maps in Xactimate. So all of these things here I've already posted. So let me show you basically what you would be getting involved in. So you would have Xactimate, and there's a few ways of importing photos. Okay, first of all, up here on the left hand corner, there's this icon that has images. So if you click on it, you're going to load your images. So you will navigate to where you've stored your photos. And so basically I've already told the machine where to go. So there's a few ways that you could do this. You could click on the first one, select the last one, and hit open. That's one way to bring them in. So let me go ahead and delete them all again so you can see another different way. So you can load image. You can click on the first one. You can hold your control key and skip, or just select the ones you want. See how the ones those are not selected. So anything you see blue, it would be imported. So basically, let me move this out of my way so I can show you. So oh, actually you just hit open. Okay, now there's another way. Okay, so let me show you. I'm going to delete those. So I'm going to show you some other ways. Okay, so I'm going to move this over right here, and I am first here. Let me move my window over a little bit. So another way you can do this is you can go to image, and that's yeah. Okay, so if I double click on that folder, I can hit Control A, select them all, and just drag them over right there. It's one way of doing it. I'm going to delete them again. I'm going to say no. Oh, excuse me, delete, yes. Okay, now, like I showed you earlier, you can actually, instead of selecting all of them, you can select the first one, hold your control key, and select only the ones you want. You let go, and just move them over. Okay. I'm going to hit Control Alt, and then I'm just going to delete them. Okay. Or you can just hit, and I'm clicking on this other folder. I can hit Control Alt and move them over. I'm not going to do that because I've already showed you that once. Okay. Another way you can do this is, so let's, okay, so let me close here. So if I go to, excuse me, okay, so if I go over and close this completely, okay, save changes, no, okay, so now let me open it back up. Okay, so now let me caution you, when you do this, there's no undo, because you're not even going to open the file. You're just going to drag a whole folder, stick it in there, and it's going to be there. You don't even have to open the file. Here, let me show you, for instance. Okay, so if I open it up, and if I go to my images, you see there's nothing there, right? Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select a folder, a whole complete folder. I'm going to click, left click, drag it right to which, you see, to which one I want. I'm going to select that one. I'm going to let go. It's going to tell me which ones I'm going to, which images I want imported. All I do is hit yes. Now it's importing them. So everything was successful. Okay, so now when I open that folder and I go to my images, they're there. I don't even have to save the file because it never was open, but it imported. Okay, so let me close out of there. Okay, now also another way is you could double click, select, the first one, hold your control key, and just grab the ones you want. There's already images there, so let me delete those real quick here. There's always a lot of ways of doing things in Xactimate, so I want to give you some ideas on certain, you might like one way better than the other. So let's save and exit. And when I save and exit, there's no photos in there. And I'll show you one more time just to make sure. So when I go here, there's no images. Okay, now this time I'm just going to select two of them. I'll select the first one and then this one here. I'm going to drag that right over to that. And you see, it only selected two of them. So when I open up that claim, there's going to be two images. Okay, so let's go ahead and delete those. So that's how you can import photos. Now, one thing you're going to have to do is label these photos. And a lot of companies have a requirement as to what's the minimum photos you can bring in. Because if you don't take enough photos, they're going to send you back. A lot of times they don't care if it's 100 miles away, 10 miles, or 1 block away. If you don't have the right amount of photos, the claim will be rejected. So what I'm going to do for right now is I'm going to bring a bunch of photos just to show you how to label them. We're not going to label all of them. So this time I'm going to click and I'm bringing in about 70 photos. This is a whole complete house. We're going to label a few of them Then there's a bunch of things that I'm going to show you that it'll be kind of important for you to know. Every insurance, your independent adjusting firm, they all got their criteria. So depends on the firm that you're working for, are going to have uh, more things to do. Some of them are going to have less things to do. So there's going to be a few things I show you here. You might not ever use half of this stuff, but at least you'll have an idea how to do it if they ask you how to do it. You can always rewind the tape. That's a lot of photographs. That's why it's taking so long. It shows that one of them failed. I know which photo it is. It's a image that's not even supposed to be there. So it'll let you know there's some images that failed. Oh, wow. So far we're at 94 photos. Like I said, you'll never use this. The reason I'm bringing in a bunch of them is because I want to show you some little tricks on labeling photos. $105. The only time you're going to do this many photos, if you do a flood claim. If you do a flood claim, this is about how many photos you're going to do, and even possibly more than this. This is, you would be taking photos of every elevation, every slope of the roof, minimum of 2 pictures on every house, and this is only a 1,800 square foot home. So imagine if it was a, 3,000, 4,000 square foot home, then this wouldn't be nothing. And normally won't take this long to do, to bring in this many photos, but when you're recording, it takes a lot of data, so it slows your machine down. Okay, we're almost, okay, so we're done. So we hit okay. Now I'm going to open up the folder, and we're going to label some of these photos, and I'll show you how to rearrange them. Okay, so I brought them in this manner so that I could show you how to do something. And that is, normally what you're going to do when you bring in your stuff, you're going to start with the front elevation. So I selected the first one. Now I'm going to go all the way till the end of my elevations. Okay, so I'm going to hold my shift key and I select the last one. Okay, now what I need to do is bring those all the way to the front. So I've released everything. Okay, I'm going to left click and I'm going to move up. You see how everything's moving up? And you see that little blue, there's a little black dot with a blue line, a vertical line. That's going to tell me where those photos are going to go. So I want it at the beginning, right? So now when I release, that's how you're going to want your photos. You're going to want your elevations, then you're going to climb to the roof. You're going to do the roof, and then you would do your inside photos. Okay, now, so basically what you would do is, I'm going to show you the manual way how to do stuff. Okay, now, so I do everything always the same way. Always do your front elevations, your right elevations, your back elevations, and your left elevations. Or you could do your front, left, back, but always go counterclockwise, counterclockwise or clockwise. But always do it the same way. Same thing when you climb up there on the roof, and I'll show you why it's important. Okay, so if I was going to label my photos, first of all, here, that's my front elevation. So I would type front elevation. And then down here in the description, you know, I'm a little anal, so this might be a lot of information, but this is how I do it. So I want them to know which photo this is. So basically I would type front elevation, semicolon, and on this one, I would just put overview because that's all that is. Okay. Now, on this one here, the next thing you want, and I put everything out of order just to show you how to move stuff around. So the next thing you want is your address. You know, take a picture of the street, the number of the house. Okay, so same thing, you would hit front. Okay, here you would put, you know, front elevation, semicolon, close up, semicolon, address. Okay, now, so, or this is another thing you can do. So you would select the first one, you select the last front elevation, and we're gonna, on the image name, we're gonna click here and we're gonna type front elevation. Now, if you notice, you see how this one says front elevation? So now I'm gonna do the back elevation, the left elevation. So I'm gonna click here to here. I know those are all my left elevations. And so we would type, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use some shortcuts. So this is, excuse me, this is my right elevation. So see, oops, I didn't click here, sorry about that. See how the one button, it labeled everything front elevation. So now I'm going to go here, all the way to here. This would be my back elevation. So just click one little button, and it would label everything. Then I would go in here. I couldn't get to parts of my back of the house, so here, this is my left elevation. So now this all the way to here is actually, that is actually my back elevation. It's because I couldn't do that. There was a gate and I couldn't get to it. Now, so now that I have that selected, see, all I got to do is just move it over right there to that way. Now all my back elevations are all together. Okay, and then so you would do the same thing with your roof. Okay, so now let me show you a trick that I have that makes it a lot easier. And you can create your own kind of document to do this. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Well, and before I even go, let me show you something. You see this image right here? That image is flipped. Because when you bring stuff in, sometimes it puts it at a weird angle, right? So I'm going to double click. You see this little thing here? You want to make sure that all your images are straight. Okay, so then you just look around and see, like that one there. You have to open it up to flip it around. And so this is all the images that I want to worry about. So now I have a document here that I use to label my stuff. So all I do is click there. Depends on what I'm looking for. Like for instance, see, if I click here, this gives me all my elevation stuff. And so basically, let's say that I'm doing that front elevation. All I got to do is click here, because you see how it says front elevation. I'm gonna hit Control C, and so then I'll go to Xactimate. Let's say it was the front elevation, and I'm just gonna hit Control V. You see how I put dwelling, front elevation, overview. The reason I put dwelling, because this is the dwelling. Sometimes you're going to have a front elevation, but it's going to be another structure. You might have a front elevation of a barn. So if you notice, I put dwelling, front elevation, overview. Okay, so see right here, I got my address, right? So if I go back to my little thing I have here, this is how I label my stuff. So here's, if I hold my Control key, click on address, hit Control C. Now when I click right here, hit Control V. Now any photo there, it's real easy for me to label it. You see here, let's pick just this one right here. Now that is my front elevation. Hail damage to the gutters, because you see it's like, you see that's not really a hail damage, but I just showed you that just to let's say that was hail damage, right? So I'm going to label this, and look how easy it is for me to do this. Now you're not going to be able to do this because you haven't designed something for yourself. But so I'm going to click here. So I'm going to hit Alt Tab. Normally I would have it on another monitor, but I'm having to do this so that I can show you. So right here, all I got to do is look for this thing in this little. Here, let me enlarge this so you can see what this thing looks like. So basically, you see, all I got to do is find. Like, let's say there's my gutters, right? There's my downspouts. So but I know where everything's at. So I always use both of these images so I don't have to go back and forth. So now I look for my downspouts. I know exactly where they are. So I'm just going to click there, hit Control C, Alt Tab, and hit Control V. Now look, dwelling, front elevation, close up, hail damage of downspouts. When you're out there labeling stuff, it's going to take a long time. But there's 100 and something photos. I guarantee you I can label these things real quick. I would do that right now, but this video is going to be long enough. So let's just pick a random one. So look, right here, this one here, back elevation, and it is a picture of a vent cover, right? So look how easy it is. So I'm going to hit Alt Tab. Now that's front elevation. So what I want to do is go to the back elevation. Okay. Now here is that. Oops, sorry, I hit the wrong. Okay. So there's my back elevation. Now it's hard for you to see that, but I can see the vent real here because my monitors are big. So look, I'm going to click. Whoa, something happened. So back elevation. Yeah, it selected it. Okay, so Control C, Alt Tab. So remember, this is the one we were looking at, right? Look, I'm just going to click here, hit Control V. So what it did, dwelling, back elevation, close up, hail damage, close dryer vent. So if you can design something like that for yourself, man, you can do labeling real fast. Otherwise, it's going to take a while. But you're going to have to label this stuff accordingly. Don't just put downspout. Well, did you have? They're going to want to know. Well, did you have hail damage to the front, to the back, to the rear, to the left? you know, you have to explain what each one of them is. Or sometimes you would say uh, uh, non-related storm damage to the gutters. Some companies require you to label even non-storm related damages. Okay, so that's how you label stuff. Now, in addition to labeling, there's going to be some things that you have to do. Some companies require it, some don't. So I'll show you. Let's go in here and do. I'm just going to draw some basic stuff. Okay, so watch this. You see this little icon right here? I'm going to put a circle right here. Then I'm going to point to it. Okay, this is how you can, this is called annotations to an image. You see this little text icon? I'm going to click here. I'm going to click and drag, and then I'm just going to type something crazy. I'm just going to put something, or whatever you want to put in there. I'm just showing you how to do this. Then I would go to the next photo, and then let's say I would circle that. Then I go to the next photo, and right, you can't see it. You can't, actually that's rotated wrong, so I'll rotate it. And then I would, since that you can't see it, I can see it from here. Then I can just put an arrow to indicate where the hail damage is. Okay, now, so if you were to export these images, let's say for some reason you wanted to export these images, I'm going to show you a couple of little things. Okay, this is going to be a lot of information. You're not going to remember everything, but watch this. Let's say that I wanted to select 3 of these images. Okay, and I'm going to export it because somebody wants his photographs. They want a copy of them for some reason or another. It's going to happen. You're going to have to do this. Okay, so I'm going to, right here in the right hand corner, I'm going to export this, and I'm just going to do it to the desktop. Just and you're going to see my desktop is a very clean desktop. I always keep it like that. So I'm going to go to my desktop, and then you see right here, you can name it whatever you want, and I'm just going to call it test image. This is zipped, so I'm going to hit save. Now I'm going to go to my desktop. Okay, here it is. Here's that zip image folder. Now, if you double click, you'll see the the photographs. You see how those annotations came in? Now, more than likely, if you're new at this and you export it, those export are not going to come out like this. And let me show you why. Okay, so I'm going to close that, and I'm going to delete that. One thing that I had already selected, which yours is not going to be like that. So if you go back to your images, and this time I'm going to go to my settings that I have already preset it. This time you see where it says export with annotations. I'm going to deselect. That way I can show you that yours would have come out without no annotations. So let's go back to the images, and I already deleted them from my hard drive. So I'm going to select the first 3. First of all, you see the annotations are there. I'm going to select the 3. I'm going to re-export it. Go to my, I'm just going to call it images instead of typing. So I'm going to hit save. Then I'm going to go to my desktop. I'm going to double click. And when I double click, now look what happens. No annotations. See? There's no annotations on those. Okay. So Um, so always remember, if those annotations have to be exported with the annotations, make sure you go to your settings and change that. I always keep those like that because I want to show you there's no sense in me putting annotations if I'm not going to export them like that. Now, so here's another little thing before we get out of all this. Okay, so you see my first image starts in number 48 and then goes to 51, then to 49, then to 50. Some companies are very, very, very strict about how those photos are labeled. That came in from the machine itself. Okay, and especially since we move things around, they're all out of order. Now, so basically what where this would come in play would be right here. So let's say that that the company required us to send them a photo sheet of all the images. Okay. So basically what you would do is you would go to your documents, right? And then right in here, there's this thing that's called oh, excuse me. No, I'm way. Okay, let me see. Claim reports. Then you go to photo report. Okay, so we're going to view those. Okay, so if we view it, there's stuff in here that some companies require certain things, and I'm going to show you how to fix the problem. Okay, like for instance, you see right here, you see it says 48, which is my first one, and that should really be number 1. But it also is put in the dwelling front elevation overview. Now, I'm going to take that out of there because yours might be set different. So I'm going to show you if you get into this problem. So let's go to your documents. Okay, so normally when you would start this, you would be final draft without depreciation. That's how it would normally look. And on yours, you probably haven't set yours up. So if you on your images, it's probably not going to have that selected. And on your sketch, here, let's go to. Okay, so you see, if I click off of this print image detail, and I go back to those report, and I go to photo report and hit view. Excuse me. Okay, so actually, so we would be here, right? And sketch your images. So mine's set for it to come all the time, so that's why on your printing options, if I deselect the images, okay, and I go in and I'm going to go at a faster way. I'm going to hit, let me close all this because all we're worrying about is our images. Okay, so we go to view. And then I'll go to my images. You see how my annotations are not there? Not just my annotations are not there, but my wording is not there. Like front elevation, you know, and held head. who created this, the day they created, all that information is gone. So when you close off this, and then another thing, did you notice that, here, let's go back. There's only one image there. Some people want 4 images. Some people want 2 images per sheet. Okay, so you see it has 1 image, right? No annotations. To make this faster, what I'm going to do, because it has to render all those images, I'm going to go to my photographs. That way we can move this thing along, so we don't need that many photos. So I'm going to go from there to there, delete it, hit OK, and that way it'll render a lot faster. So I keep on hitting commands. Sorry about that, guys. If you click on print, it's the same thing as you seeing me put Control P. So I just wanted to show you. So you click on that. Now, this time I'm going to go to Images. I'm going to tell it 2 images per sheet. I want to print the detail and the annotations. Well, first we're not going to do the annotations. That way we're going to do little baby steps. So we're going to hit print details. So we're going to hit view. And then now I have 48 front elevation, dwell in front elevation overview. That's what the examiners are going to be looking at. But remember, I don't have my annotations. So now if I click print annotations, I hit view, all of a sudden now I got my annotations, I got my front elevation, and my description of the photographs. Okay, so now all of a sudden, well, still, okay, you see right here, it says 48 front elevation. Some companies are very strict about that. So you're going to have to change that to a 1. Let me show you how to do that. So we're going to go close out of here. We're going to go to your photos. Now you see this right here? Right here it says Renumber. When I click here, you see how it says front, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. So when you hit print, and this time you go view, now the photos are in their perspective order. There's 1, you see 1 front elevation, 2 front elevation, and so on. Okay, so I'm just showing you how to do this, because you're going to get out there, and then one good thing is that you got my videos. So if you subscribe to me, I'll go through not everything. I mean, it would take a long time, but on your basic stuff, from when you get your claim, your email, all the way when you print and do all your narratives. So, okay, so that's that. Let me see if there's anything else that I wanted to explain. I explained that. Printing. Yeah, basically that's basically how you would do your photographs. There's a lot more to Xactimate, but on this video, I just wanted to show you how to do photos. Thank you for looking at this video. Subscribe to me, and like earlier, I showed you my email address at the beginning of my video. I had my email address, so if you want to know how to do something, email me and I can show you, I can send you a video. All right, well, thank you for watching my video.